On November 24, 1971, the United States experienced its first plane hijacking, a case that the FBI could not solve, leaving it an enduring mystery. Viewers will be intrigued to learn that this act was carried out by a single individual known as Dan Cooper, or more famously, D.B. Cooper. This hijacking captured the attention of television channels and filmmakers, not only in America, but around the world. Ultimately, on July 12, 2016, the FBI officially closed the investigation due to its inability to resolve the case. In today's video from DocuQuest, we will explore how D.B. Cooper managed to accomplish such a feat and how all the FBI's efforts to capture him ultimately failed. Let's move on to today's documentary and uncover all the details.
In one of the FBI's biggest cold cases ever.
Legendary D.B. Cooper Skyjack.
Unsolved crimes in U.S. history. The 1971 D.B. Cooper FBI is closing the case. The mysterious hijacker known as D.B. Cooper, the leads.
It was November 24, 1971, when American Northwest Airlines Flight 305 lined up for takeoff. While all the passengers were busy buying tickets, one of them, Dan Cooper, identified himself with this name, signed his signature on the ticket, and booked a one-way ticket from Portland, Oregon to Seattle, Washington through a cash transaction. In those days, security arrangements were not particularly stringent. This apparent businessman, dressed in a business suit, black tie, and white shirt, boarded the plane without undergoing any checks, carrying a number of explosive devices. He took a seat at the back of the plane. The flight had a total of 36 passengers, including D.B. Cooper and 6 crew members. Once the plane took off, D.B. Cooper addressed the flight attendant, Florence Schaffner, and called her over. As he introduced himself, he handed her a piece of paper. Schaffner, however, initially mistook the entire interaction for flirtation. The hijacker shouted from behind, instructing her to open the slip and read it. The air hostess was stunned as she read the note, which clearly stated, "Miss, I have a bomb. Sit with me." She quietly took the seat next to him, but Schaffner was still not convinced that Cooper had an explosive device. To convince her, Cooper opened his briefcase, revealing wires, incendiary materials, and batteries, providing a detailed inspection of the bomb. At the same time, Cooper presented his demands to the air hostesses. "I need $200,000 in cash by 5 p.m. today. Place all the cash in a bag and give it to me, along with 2 parachutes and a fuel tanker to refuel the plane. If anyone tries to be smart or clever, I will crash the plane with a bomb." Despite everything happening on the plane, the passengers remained unaware of the entire situation. Air hostess Schaffner did not want the passengers to know, so she discreetly went to the pilots and handed them Cooper's note. Another air hostess, Tina Mucklow, was informed of the entire story and sat down with Cooper to maintain communication between him and the pilots. The pilots relayed all this information to the air traffic controller, and soon the news reached the president of the airline, Donald Nyrop, who was the decision-maker in this situation. They agreed to meet all of Cooper's demands and contacted a nearby bank in Seattle to arrange the cash. It was recommended that the plane circle Seattle until the cash could be arranged. The half-hour flight landed in Seattle 3 hours later. Cooper was given a bag of money containing $10,020 notes, about which an interesting detail will be shared later in the video. After that, the plane was refueled using the fuel tanker. The passengers were disembarked, and the plane took off again with only the pilots and flight attendants on board. Cooper issued instructions to steer the plane at minimum speed toward Mexico City. At 8:41 p.m., in the dark, between Seattle and Reno, Cooper jumped off the back of the plane with the bag of money. The plane was then safely landed with all the crew members on board. The case was handed over to the FBI, who thoroughly searched the plane during the investigation. They found one of Cooper's ties, 1 parachute, and some used cigarettes, but no other trace of him. About 9 years after the incident, a child playing by a river near Seattle found some notes with the same serial numbers as the 10,000 notes. Because the serial numbers of all the dollars were cleverly noted down by the president and bank employees before they were given to Cooper, it was hoped this would facilitate his arrest. The FBI retained the $5,800 found on the riverbank. However, this discovery led to many more questions. Was Cooper, who jumped from a height of 10,000 feet, still alive? How did the FBI fail to find any trace of him from 1971 to 2016, leading to the case being closed without resolution? Viewers, do you think Dan Cooper, who jumped out of a moving plane, is alive or dead? Please share your valuable opinions in the comment section. Take good care of yourselves. Goodbye.